right, guys, so welcome. Sounds like you are thinking about getting your real estate license. So today we're going to go over a few things that I personally wish I would have known before getting my license. So let's dive in. So a little bit about me. I am located in Los Angeles, California. So everything I say, if you're in a different state, may be a little bit different. Okay, so you want to get your real estate license, which number one, thank you. Okay, so it's an exciting time, but there are some things to think about. So I'm not psychic, but I'm guessing you might want to get your license because you're sick of working 9 to 5, you want a more flexible schedule, don't like your boss so much, or maybe you just want to be your own boss. Okay, so before you give your 2 weeks notice, let's talk about a few things. And the first thing I'm going to start with is timing. I think a lot of people think, okay, that's it. I'm fed up with my job. I'm going to be a real estate agent. Well, doesn't happen overnight. And the reason is it has nothing to do with your motivation, how hard you're going to study. It's just designed so you can't get your license overnight. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Now, listen, you could be the most motivated person, put in all the time and energy to get your license. It's still going to take time. On average, it's going to take around 4 to 6 months to get a real estate license. And you're probably thinking, but why so long? I'm going to break this down a little bit further. So I'm going to break this down into two buckets, really. So before you actually go to take your real estate
big test in
person, and again, that test will be in person. So some of you may be confused of, can I do all this online? Now that brings me back a little bit here. So really where you start is with your real estate courses, which again, this is why it's going to take a bit of time to actually get your real estate license. Okay, so real estate courses, let's talk a little bit more about that. Now, you can take any course you want. I am not paid or sponsored by anyone, so if I'm going to talk about a certain course today, that is just because that's who I picked. Okay, so our real estate courses, they're going to be 135 hours, and we're going to do those online. Now, when we are doing our courses, here's the caveat, and that's why it takes a bit longer to actually get your real estate license. In between each one of your quizzes that you're going to take within your courses, you actually have to wait around 2.5 weeks to take your next quiz. That's why this process actually takes a little bit longer than a lot of people think. Now again, you can pick whatever course you like. I picked Real Estate Express, and I'm going to dive into a little bit more about what those courses look like. So there's going to be 3 different segments that you're going to study and take quizzes on. All right, so our first part is going to be real estate principles. Again, I'm in California, so your state might look a little different, but for us in California, we do real estate principles first. Hopefully everybody can see this. So the next part of the course is actually going to be real estate practice. Hopefully everybody can see it. Again, every state's probably going to be a little bit different, but I'm in California, so this is going to be our next course. You see, I have hard copies of books, which I originally got because I liked something tangible. I ended up studying a little bit of a different way, which we'll talk about in a second here. And then our last one, a lot of times you get to pick your third course. For California, a lot of times we do the California legal aspects of real estate. So again, this is going to be our last 45 hours. So as mentioned, it's going to be 135 hours of these quizzes that you have to take, keeping in mind that you do have to wait in between each quiz. Again, that's how it was when I took my test. And again, I'm in California, I'm located in Los Angeles. That is what our testing looks like here. So again, refer to your own state. Maybe it looks a little different for you. So after you complete your 135 hours, then you can take your in-person real estate exam. And this is something I really want to touch on for a second, because if I would have known people that went through the whole process, got their license, I wish somebody would have told me the following. So something to keep in mind is the real estate test.
It's no joke, guys.
It's pretty tricky. And if you try to look at all the information for real estate, it's hard to really understand what's going to be on that test. So what I did is I found a study tool, which again, this is the cool part, is while you're taking your quizzes, and especially within that like 2.5 week gap where you can't really take some of your tests, study for your final exam. Please be ready for that. Now, if you fail, you can retake it, but really that's not the goal, guys. We really want to go in and pass that thing first try. So the way that I got ready for my real estate exam is I use a study app. The one that I use, again, I'm not getting paid for this, so find whatever works best for you. The one that I used was called Prep Agent. So if you use Prep Agent, it's really cool. Again, no online app can tell you exactly what's going to be on the test. That would not be illegal. But I can tell you so much of what I studied on Prep Agent ended up being on that test. I like to think I'm a fairly smart person. You know, I enjoy studying, reading, all of that good stuff. But again, there is just such a wealth of just information. You don't really know where to focus. So these study apps are really great. So the sooner you get signed up for these study apps, take them again while you're doing your 135 hours of courses and start studying so you're ready for your actual in-person exam. Okay, so while we are taking our online exams, our quizzes that we talked about, and we're getting ready for our ultimate in-person real estate test, there's other things that you can be doing during that time. We touched on, again, get that app early in the game so you can be studying, but here's a few other things that I would recommend. So one of the biggest choices you're going to have to make is what brokerage are you going to join? Now, you're going to get your real estate license, not your broker license. So what comes with that is you actually have to hang your license somewhere, is what we call it in the industry. So it's really important, start meeting with brokerages. Okay, so meeting with brokerages, how do we pick the one that's right for you? So again, even before you have your actual real estate license, personally, I started meeting with brokerages in person to see who was going to be the right fit for me. So some things to think about when you're looking for a brokerage. So if you're a new agent just starting out, one thing to think about is you're going to have to learn what to do as an agent. Again, I came from a sales background. I thought it was going to be a pretty easy transition, but I got humbled pretty quickly. So one of the big things that I looked for was a good training program. A brokerage that has hopefully mentors that are going to meet on a weekly basis and are going to be there and available when you have any questions. Let's keep in mind, when you become an agent, you're going to see there's a ton of different contracts that you're going to have to write, whether you're listing a house, you're going to have a listing agreement, or if you're writing an offer, you're representing a buyer, you're going to have a purchase agreement. These contracts are going to be sort of intimidating at first, but the way to navigate these is to have, again, a good mentor in place that can help guide you, making sure you're filling everything out so you're not missing a beat. So I know it's tempting. You want to join the brokerage that's going to give you the biggest commission cut. Not always the way to go, especially when you're a new agent. So let's talk about that for a second. So one thing that I'm sure everybody is thinking about is, how does commission work? So we talked about when you get your license, you hang your license with a broker. So after you sell a home, what happens is actually the broker is going to get the commission check for that. So when you're picking a brokerage, they are going to take a percentage of your commission. It's just kind of the way things go within the real estate industry. Now, brokerages, a lot of times, they're going to offer you marketing resources. They're going to print the flyers for your open houses. They're going to have staff on hand. Like we talked about, they're going to have mentors that are help training you. So again, it's not all for nothing. They are giving you a resource and some services for that commission split. Now, for the commission split itself, again, there's going to be smaller brokerages. They are probably going to offer you bigger commission splits, but the problem is they're not always going to be there to help train you and really build you into an agent, the type of agent that you imagine being. So to expand on that, what I would recommend is, when you are a new agent, again, maybe you have family members that are in the industry, so maybe this would change a little bit if that were the case. But again, if you were really just kind of stepping into the real estate industry on your own, I would say meet with maybe like the 5 biggest brokerages. Again, what real estate signs do you kind of see everywhere? What flyers are you getting in your mailboxes? Go meet with them. Go meet with the people that are running the offices. If they're available, meet the mentors that are going to be help training you as a real estate agent. I can't stress enough, if you really start out with the wrong brokerage, it's going to set you up to, I don't want to say fail, but you'll probably start getting discouraged. And what I mean by that is, you have to remember, you really become your own company when you're a real estate agent. You can kind of operate, obviously, within legal confines. You can operate really how you want with your branding, your marketing, and you are responsible for you. Now, with that, if you are not with a brokerage that's really training you on how to build your business, how to get leads, how to engage with people at open houses, where to put your open house signs, how to open a lockbox. Again, this is all stuff that you're going to need to know. In that first year of real estate, or maybe even the first 1 or 2 years of real estate, you really, really need someone that's going to give you that support to help mold you into that superior agent. All right, so once you've met with a couple brokerages, you've probably found one or two that really kind of feel like you and represent who you want to be as an agent. Another thing that I would recommend is save your money. That first year of real estate, it's going to have some costs associated with it. So going through getting your license, you're going to have your course fees, you're going to have to pay to take the real estate exam, you will have to get a background check. So all this is going to cost money. So that in itself, probably between $500 to $1,000. Now, after we get our real estate license, there's some things to think about. You're going to have to pay for things. You're going to have to pay for what we call E&O insurance, which again really just covers you as an agent. Unfortunately, there's legal things that come up when you're an agent, so you're going to have to pay your E&O insurance. You're probably going to have to pay to be a member of the board of realtors, and there's other fees that come along with it. And we have to keep in mind, guys, it's a commission-based industry. If you do not sell, you are not making money. So some other expenses to think about. Now, I had to get a different laptop. I needed a laptop just dedicated for real estate. The good thing is you can kind of work anywhere. So if you're in the office, they're probably going to let you use like their printers and things like that. But I actually enjoy working from home a lot of days. So I just made sure I had a laptop, I had a printer, and kind of my little setup here. So just set aside some funds for that where you can get a laptop. I'm an Apple girl, so I just make sure, I can film on my iPhone, and there it is on my MacBook. So if you are going to be creating any kind of online content, again, it's obviously works very well together. If you have an Apple product, again, not getting paid, so whatever feels right to you. So just make sure that we have some money kind of put aside for that first year, whether it's, again, the fees that you're going to be paying your brokerage, money to get your laptop. Again, it's your business, so it is something that you're going to have to invest in. I'm sure by this point we have all watched videos where agents are telling you, oh, you're going to sell 100 houses your first year, quit your job, take the leap. Listen, everyone's different, but the first year for me was really more about learning than anything. So I had another job where I was able to have some income coming in, keep paying my bills while I was getting set up in real estate. The first few months especially was just about working with my mentor and learning as much as possible. And then when I felt confident, I started doing open houses and things like that. Now, doing an open house doesn't necessarily mean you're getting any money. In fact, it means you're getting no money. Now, hopefully, if you're at the open house, you're meeting leads, aka clients, that will eventually convert into a client where, again, then we're closing deals, hopefully. But something to think about is that first year of real estate, which I will make another video on. Again, as mentioned, I'll make a different video, but that first year, be prepared, guys. Money a lot of times won't just instantly come in. Again, if you have family and you're joining their brokerage and there's leads already there waiting for you, fantastic. A lot of times that's not someone's reality. So if you're really starting from scratch, joining a brokerage, having to get your leads ready, even if you know people, guys, again, you just became an agent, so sometimes it's going to take a little while. So that first year, if you were in a place where you can work another job that's flexible so you can still work with clients, show homes, host open houses, that to me is kind of the best scenario possible. So another thing that you can do while, again, we're gearing up to get our real estate license is to create really branding for yourself. Like we talked about, you really are your own company, even if your license is hung with your brokerage. So start thinking about, okay, what I'm going to start posting on Instagram. What do I want to know about real estate? And start making notes about that, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, And again, social media platforms are popping up all the time. So keep your finger on the pulse and start thinking about what kind of content do you think would be interesting and what can I post once I get my license. Start thinking about your logo, what you want your business cards to look like, all that good stuff. You're probably going to need a headshot. So there's stuff again where as you're waiting to get that real estate license, there's definitely things that you can be doing in the meantime. Guys, honestly, I could kind of go on forever about this, so I think I'll probably wrap up, at this point. I will make another video. Again, I think one thing that I can remember is my first year in real estate and really looking back going, okay, what do I wish I would have known that maybe I can share with other agents that are just coming into the industry. So look for that video. We'll dive a little bit deeper on some of the stuff that we talked about today. But just a quick recap. Again, it's going to take some time to get your license. We have to do our 135 hours for those online courses that we talked about. Keeping in mind that, again, between those quizzes, you're going to have some time where the system simply won't let you take that next test. What are we doing during that? We're studying for our real estate exam. Again, I recommend using an app just to make sure, again, we have enough time that we're studying for that final exam. Final exam, just again, as you're finishing that course, you're taking your final exam. I know, again, I'm in California, I'm in Los Angeles, and those in-person exams for your real estate test, it gets booked really quick. So I would say go ahead and get that booked, because for me, I actually had to wait, I think it was 2 months until they had availability to even go take it in person. So be mindful of that. As soon as you're done with those courses, go ahead, schedule the exam, and keep studying. So I think like that's in a nutshell for that first year, kind of what to expect. But guys, don't get discouraged. Once you become a real estate agent, it's a lot of those things that we talked about. Your freedom, you have your own boss, you could really make your own schedule. And it's going to take a lot of work, guys. It's not easy. I know we see it on reality shows. So it's not going to be like that. We're probably not going to be driving Lamborghinis our first year, but it's okay, guys. We'll get there. But really, it's really about remembering we don't sell houses, we sell homes, and we're really creating these beautiful lives for people, which is one of the most rewarding things, really, in my opinion, that you could do. So until next time, I'm here. If you have any questions, drop a comment or reach out. I'm always available. Until next time.